She is sprinkling magic all around the WNBA, making a sport that no one likes likable and watchable.
The WNBA Finals just recorded its largest audience since 2001, and all of this was without the one and only Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese's impact on the WNBA has been seismic, but it's feared it might not be big enough to save the league in the long run. Both Clark and Reese shone during their first ever season in professional basketball, with the duo sharing all 67 votes for the Rookie of the Year award. Admittedly, Clark dominated that particular award, taking 66 of the 67 votes, but Chicago Sky's Reese has impressed and brought plenty of attention to the league.
Number one, I would give a shout out to Caitlin for what she's did for women basketball the last 3 years, man. It's been incredible. And I wish those women would embrace it.
She was great, and she's a phenomenal basketball mind.
Sellout crowds, merchandise sale hikes, and bumper TV audience numbers are just some of the results of Clark and Reese's arrival in the WNBA. We are witnessing a sports phenomenon unlike any other in recent memory, and maybe ever. Caitlin Clark's second trip to Atlanta with the Indiana Fever set a second arena attendance record, as more than 17,600 fans were packed to the rafters to see her.
Caitlin Clark continues to set the bar when it comes to her impact on female athletics.
Is when Caitlin Clark was at Iowa and she was in the national championship game, that game peaked at 24 million viewers.
Player who is truly changing the game, Clark and the Fever might be fighting for a spot in the WNBA playoffs, but they have affected the entire league.
And guess what? It's going to change for the better because Caitlin Clark's going to help it change for the better. And if Caitlin Clark helps you appreciate that.
The Atlanta Dream usually play in a 3,500-seat arena, but moved to 17,000-seat State Farm Arena just to accommodate the fans who want to see Caitlin Clark. But after Caitlin Clark saw her historic rookie season with the Indiana Fever come to an end after a Game 2 loss to the Connecticut Sun in the WNBA playoffs, the former Iowa Hawkeyes star has already made some moves during the offseason.
To play in the XX League, where Caitlin Clark and that league will draw a better audience.
The Caitlin Clark games had over 1.178 million viewers. From the Indiana Fever versus the Connecticut Sun, they garnered 2.5 million viewers on ESPN. So that is still almost double the amount of viewers that we are seeing in the WNBA final.
Clark has already revealed that she will be participating in the Annika Pro-Am coming up, which is a tournament of the LPGA Tour hosted by Swedish golfer Annika Sorenstam. In preparation, Clark and her Fever teammate Lexi Hull hit the course last week, where she nearly hit a hole-in-one. The 22-year-old has shown up at a few local sporting events as well, including an Indianapolis Colts game and an Indiana Pacers preseason match. On Saturday night, Clark also attended the Golden Gala, a fundraiser held by the Pacers Foundation right outside of Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Caitlin Clark has put to rest any speculation regarding a potential exit from the Women's National Basketball Association.
She's gonna lift that league up as well. So Caitlin Clark, if you're out there, you are one of the GOATs of our games, and we appreciate you.
The 22-year-old standout is making waves in the WNBA as she continues to rise to prominence. In a poignant 7-word statement reflecting on her incredible season, Clark said, "I wouldn't change anything for the world." The talented point guard gained national attention after a phenomenal rookie season with the Indiana Fever, guiding her team to the WNBA playoffs, despite a tough loss in the opening round to the Connecticut Sun. Clark's exceptional performances led her to clinch the coveted Rookie of the Year award, beating out Angel Reese and driving viewer numbers to new heights as basketball fans flock to witness the Iowa native's meteoric rise.
And if we take it a step further and look at the final WNBA regular season viewership, the Caitlin Clark games had over 1.178 million viewers. So that is on average how many people were tuning in every single week to watch Caitlin Clark.
Although her groundbreaking season incited chatter about her future, with whispers of her possibly seeking a departure from the WNBA, it seems she's made it clear that she's not going anywhere just yet. If Clark were to announce any intentions of leaving the U.S. basketball scene, interest would undoubtedly be at fever pitch, as reported by The Express.
Leave these women alone. Let these women compete amongst themselves. And eventually, a superstar will emerge.
However, she has recently suggested her commitment to the WNBA for the upcoming season. In an Instagram post released earlier this week, Clark expressed her heartfelt gratitude, stating, "I feel very thankful. I wouldn't change anything for the world. I feel very thankful for the relationships I've built, the opportunities that I've had, the way people have supported me, whether it was at Iowa or now in the WNBA. For me, all season complaining about her fans, how the league is more than her, she's not saying enough, she's harming everyone, she has a special whistle, she's only successful because of privilege, the league existed before her, she's all hype.
Caitlin Clark is the problem, when actually Caitlin Clark is the solution.
She doesn't bring anything other than threes. She didn't win in college, and now you need her and her fans to bail you out? She can get a bag anywhere if that's what she wants. I wouldn't give a second of my time unless people start giving her some recognition and acknowledgement for what she's done. Unrivaled basketball league investor David Levy appeared to reveal a plan to try and sway Caitlin Clark into joining their league. The 22-year-old has become a huge superstar in women's basketball courtesy of her incredible performances for the University of Iowa college basketball team. While she was not able to inspire Indiana Fever to the playoff finals in her first season, her presence has helped grow the WNBA's broadcasting footprint. However, the Iowa native appears to be determined to prove she is a person of many talents, as she is also set to compete in the upcoming Ladies Professional Golf Association event in Florida next month, where she will be playing with golf legend Annika Sorenstam. Before she does strut onto the fairway, Levy may have an offer to show her. Levy said to Front Office Sports, "If we're lucky enough to get Caitlin Clark, are we going to travel to Iowa?" Suggesting Unrivaled will hold an event in her home state if she was to join the new division. While not revealing if an offer had been officially made for Clark, did not hide her deep respect for the talented Iowan. She added, "It's just so crazy because the growth that Caitlin has brought to the game, the sheer amount of money that she's making these teams, people are having to move their venues for when she comes to play. She's getting paid like $75,000 a year. She should be one of the top paid players in the world just for the sheer numbers she's bringing." Clark is a basketball player first and foremost, but she is also intent on showing her best hand on the golf course. When asked about the event in Florida, she pledged she will put her best foot forward. The LPGA will be hoping the Caitlin Clark effect can also send their viewership numbers on a similar trajectory. One person who will also be keeping track of those numbers will be WNBA legend Sue Bird. Lynn Clark is a WNBA player. Today she is popping up because of a flagrant foul that wasn't called yesterday. But it's really bigger than that. It's the question about why it wasn't called. She is a great player. It's not just that she is a great player. She is a once-in-a-lifetime player. Her stats are so far above her peers they are literally not even in the same quadrants. She's playing for the worst team in the league because that's how drafts work. Unfortunately, because of the calendar, this team had barely any time to come together. They don't know how to communicate yet. They don't know each other's tells and moves, strengths and weaknesses. There actually are some great players on the team alongside Clark. This could be an unstoppable force, but there are a few things in the way. One is the resentment that is being perpetuated by players who feel the sport deserved attention long before CC dribbled a ball. Maybe they're right. Doesn't matter though, because now they've got attention, but instead of parlaying that into a rising tide, they're taking pot shots. Which leads to the second problem. Especially after last night's game, it became extremely clear that the referees have been allowing straight-up CC hunting to happen. Is it hazing? One is the resentment that is being perpetuated by players who feel the sport deserved attention long before CC dribbled a ball. Maybe they're right. Doesn't matter though, because now they've got attention, but instead of parlaying that into a rising tide, they're taking pot shots. Which leads to the second problem. Especially after last night's game, it became extremely clear that the referees have been allowing straight-up CC hunting to happen. Is it hazing? Is it taking down the rookie? Or is it immature, short-sighted athletes who don't get the point? The third problem is the coach who is not a coach for the level of athlete she has. She is way out of her league. She cannot work with someone like CC, and she's not the coach to bring Mitchell Boston, Smith, Wheeler, Samuelson to be the players they can be. But you will never hear Clark say any of this. She is a team player. She supports her teammates 100%.